must be our goal and our guide. And all that we strive for as a human family, dignity and hope, progress and prosperity, depends on peace. But peace depends on us.
Thank you very much. Welcome to Punchline Africa television, broadcasting from the African Command Center somewhere in Africa. Good morning. Today's show is very, very important to the countries of Africa and Africa at large. The ICC and the Kenya's image. What lessons do we have? What lessons do we learn from the ICC debacle? Have we learned any lessons so far? I'm sorry, I am at an airport. Therefore, you will be interrupted by so many other things. And when it becomes too much, Miriam will take over from me and I will take cover under the water. So thank you very much. So far the announcement has gone. I can begin again. Today, the show is very important. What lessons do we learn? What lessons have we learned, Professor? What have we learned about the ICC? Has the ICC taught us something? 6 years ago, the termination of the ICC cases in Kenya brought about joy. But there were two stages of termination. One, there was no evidence in the Kenyatta case. The witnesses were fake. They never put up evidence. And two, the case number one of Kenya, of Arap Sang and William Ruto, the evidence was contaminated or interfered with or obstructed. So there are two differences that you need to know. Any analyst coming in must know that both of these cases ended up on those technicalities. And I'm speaking from a point of a well-informed ICC crusader and anti-crusader. The two cases ended on two flanks. One, Besuda came out and said there was no, the witnesses of Uhuru Kenyatta were fake. They gave them fake evidence. Therefore, they could not proceed with fake evidence. You remember OTP number 4, witness number 4, Charles Maina Kabutu. You remember what he was saying, which caused most of us difficulties up to today. Then came the witnesses on case number 1, which was the case of Joseph of William Samoei Ruto and Arap Sang. The witnesses were actually obstructed, terminated, or people were persuaded or coached or told to recant or paid to recant. That is the bottom line of it now. And that is why one of the people in the court today is Paul Gicheru, allegedly, who actually tampered with witnesses under Article 70 of the Roma Statute. Under Article 70 of the Roma Statute, once convicted on the case of tampering, obstruction of justice, perjury, you are sentenced to 5 years or fined not more than $500,000 or both. So the court today, Mr. Gicheru had tried so much to bring about changes in a court to say that the current judge from Sierra Leone should not hear the case. And unfortunately, the court rejected that, and the current judge is going to hear the case. It kicks off today, anytime. I don't know whether it has kicked on. The technical team, Miriam, should tell us whether it is on or not, or what time it will kick, which will be about 11 o'clock of East African of European time.
Supposed to be on Friday.
It will kick on?
It's supposed to be on Friday. The status conference is scheduled for Friday.
Yes, it kicks on. The case starts today, but the status conference will be tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah, which is today. I don't know what today is, which date. I am in a different
23rd.
zone.
23rd is on Thursday. 23rd.
23rd, yes. Okay. I am having problems with dates. So, Miriam, thank you for correcting me on that. I had thought that today was 24th because I am in a different time zone. So, thank you very much. Viewers, this is the crux of the matter, and that is where we are today. What lessons has Kenya learned from this? Have we learned anything? Are we doing the same thing? Are we repeating what we did in 2007? The same type of language? What lessons? Miriam, back to you in the headquarters.
Okay.
Thank you.
Very well, thank you so much. And indeed, we do have that story covered on today's The Standard newspaper. And the International Criminal Court has dismissed lawyer Paul Gicheru's plea to suspend a status conference scheduled for Friday. Mr. Gicheru had applied for presiding Judge Maria Samba to disqualify herself from the case, arguing that her work in the office of the prosecutor during the investigations into the 2007-2008 post-election violence raised questions about her impartiality. According to Gicheru, the judge's disclosure that had been previously participated in the Kenyan investigations was the sole reason he wanted her out. Her presence, he argued, would jeopardize his trial his right to a fair trial, but the judge dismissed his application, noting that the status conference was to prepare for the hearing of the case. Justice Maria said that Gicheru would not suffer any harm if he appears during a virtual conference. At the same time, she stated that she was not privy to the evidence to be produced by the prosecution, adding that her involvement in the PEV probe was only on matters of logistics. So we know that although the mayhem following the disputed December 2007 election seemed an exception, violence has been a common feature in Kenya's politics since the introduction of multi-party democracy in 1991. And the question, the doctor, you've posed there, are there any lessons that we have learned as a country from all this?
Yeah, thank you very much. First of all, for me, I will leave it to other people. Then I will come down with my opinion. Let's begin with Professor Gerard Onyari. Any lessons learned from this?
Yeah, Dr. Masanga, thank you for that good question. It is now 16 years or 14 years since these things happened. And Dr. Matsanga, we have always said that we need redemption strategy for this country to move forward, where we can forgive each other, reconcile. But this thing keeps on coming to Matsanga, and it is very traumatizing. You don't know what you do. Now we are having this idea about ISIS. We have recommended, you have given a recommendation that 2% or a lot of African project for a land. Giving $1 million to Africa so that Dr. Masanga, you can have this trial here, Dr. Masanga. Some of the lessons we have learned, Dr. Masanga, is we should have our strong institutions, the judiciary, which is independent, Dr. Masanga, which will give people justice wherever they go before those courts. So what we are getting is that because our institutions, and I don't know what stops Kenyans from having a division in the High Court to handle this matter and it becomes foreclosure. We can't keep on talking about the ICC, we can't keep on talking about the ICC day in, day out. You know, we came out with BBI and we wanted to have some reforms, minimum reforms, how we want this country to be. But Dr. Masanga, You cannot kill people, you cannot ban people in the church, Dr. Masanga, you cannot tamper with the witnesses, Dr. Masanga, and then you think you can hide. Gicheru tried several times, Dr. Masanga, but eventually he had to hand himself of his own. So, Dr. Masanga, from where I sit here, that this thing comes to us. It is all we are not doing justice to the families of Dr. Masanga. People have not gone back to their homes to Dr. Masanga. And even at the moment, Dr. Masanga will see grams of war being beaten, Dr. Masanga, simply because people have not learned lessons, Dr. Masanga. From where I sit, Dr. Masanga, let us not get tired of saying that as a people of this country, Dr. Masanga, let us embrace the Dempson strategy, Dr. Masanga. It happened. So we can't keep on looking at the back 14 years ago to what happened. We may not be taking this country forward. We may want to know who raped women, who banned people in the church, who did what, who tampered with the witness of Dr. Masanga, so that this matter come into a closure. And Gicheru trying to say that he does not believe in Judge Maria to handle the case, Dr. Masanga. What the judge does, Dr. Masanga, he listens to the case. It is prosecution, Dr. Masanga, which gives evidence, and the prosecution and the defense will report if the evidence is not true. So, Dr. Masanga, I'm looking forward to the day this matter will just come to a conclusion and we move forward as a nation. I submit.
Very well. Thank you so much, Dr. Joseph Nyanchama.
Yeah. Miriam, I would request that I am about to leave.
Okay.
Can I, Dr. Nyanchama, can I give my reasons? I have about 10 minutes to walk towards the terminal.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely, Doc.
First of all, viewers and those watching us across the world, this is what I've been saying for a long time. Kenya needs a redemption strategy. Kenya needs to change its strategy from an election to redemption. The more you sing elections in Kenya as if nothing happened 14, 10, 16 years ago, you are stupid. When you do that, that is the most serious thing that I see the presidential candidates wanting elections more than redemption. Raila Amolo Odinga and Uhuru Kenyatta said, let's redempt first. Let's wash our hearts out. Let's reach out to each other. The lesson we have learned is that the same people who were at the center stage of inciting people, jumping on the tables and breaking down tables, inciting their natives and their ethnic groups to come out to fight other groups, are at the center of elections. Do you learn any lesson from there? Yes. As the younger generation, people like Sharon, Tawish, Miriam, and others watching, what lessons are serious? The most serious lesson is that we are heading to an election without a redemption strategy. What a chaos can we have if there is any problem of chaos ahead? Another second reason is we never learn, we never change. We are the same leopards. A leopard doesn't change. Tawish will tell you, a leopard does not change spots. It remains a leopard, Miriam. The same people who are at the forefront maiming people, ordering people to maim others, are the same people today who want to make themselves known as if nothing happened. They are the same people who went and destroyed BBI. Today, we are at the center, at crossroads. Is the nation image being dented? Yes. For Kenya case to return to the ICC, we are denting our image again. What lessons again? As Onyali said, we should have created a special division of the High Court. And that is division of the High Court would have solved Up to today, we have not charged any person who cut people. If you walk around the stations in Eldoret, you walk around in Naivasha, you walk around in Bungoma, you walk around in across the country, and you find someone who raped your wife. Have you healed? What would you say to this person who raped your wife? What about the victims? Have we reparated the victims? Have we restituted the victims? Have we told the truth? Today, I see a lot of untruth being told Miriam. Is there any lesson we learned? No. About truth-telling Miriam, zero. If you see the Deputy President Pharaoh, the Pharisees, he has become a Pharisee. He tells one story tomorrow, he says God is for only him, he invests in heaven. All these things, statements of investing in heaven, investing where, are part of a charade that started in 2007. And if we don't stop it, I don't think we are going anywhere far, Miriam. The situation might become worse. The ICC is there. The implications. If this case is now heard publicly, the whole world is going to hear from Friday. The witnesses, 13 witnesses, eyewitnesses that were part of the people who were fixed, including some of the people who were giving them money. It is going to open up the whole case for Kenya. People to say what happened, because some people didn't know what happened in Kenya. So if you look at all the things that are happening, Miriam, I think there is need on a serious note to learn lessons. The last thing I want to say, I and Tawish and others, we struggled so much to bring, I went to court. Onyari is my witness and Tawish and others. I wanted to remove the work envelope. What has taken us so long to remain with an envelope that is being used by the office of the chief prosecutor every year? Miriam, any time in the future, anybody will go, and when you are in Europe drinking your coffee, like now I will be arriving to drink my coffee, you know, and then somebody comes and said, excuse me, we have a problem with you. So let's get the work envelope out and let it get out of our systems. The government and the people of Kenya should do that. And that is the basis of any lessons learned. If you ask me, are there any lessons learned? The most lessons learned are negative. There is no positive so far. The only thing positive that has come, they have killed it. Uhuru Kenyatta said, let's have BBI to clean all this mess. Ruto came and killed it. Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga wanted to unite this country. Now we cannot unite this country. Now we are going to an election. Now we are here. There we are. And we are now jeering for another. I don't know. Miriam, I don't know whether you know whether there will be somebody who will accept the results. The two guys are on the ballot. Raila's supporters will not just, you know, if there is anything wrong, the way things are going, that money is being used to splash around, they will go to court. And there will be an argument. And that argument could become nasty. Thank you. That is I will watch until I climb. I will see you later. I will talk to all of you later. Discuss the matters. Don't worry about everything. Keep the fort going. I am there. I will stand in for you anytime.
All right, Doc, you have a nice flight. Thank you so much for that. Dr. Joseph Nyanchama now.
Oh, thank you, Miriam. Thank you, Doc, for your insight on this matter. You are an expert on happenings of ICC. Absolutely what Doc has said, Miriam. By now, in fact, that case, we should have developed the infrastructures required. We should be hearing here in our country. In fact, we should be physically attending court, Miriam. We look at Gicheru ana kwa ana, but unfortunately, because we never learn, we take most things for granted. And you see now is another opportunity, of course, from a negative way, Kenya going to be exposed further, old wounds being revived. Reviving these old wounds will, of course, contribute to, of course, the shaky situation going into the next elections. It is unfortunate that we never learn from history. As pertaining to the case now in ICC, Gicheru requesting the disqualification of a judge, what is more important he needs to focus on is the evidence on site. And that is what is worrying him, because if he was involved in doctoring the evidence or manipulating the credible witnesses, and you know it's a very serious offense. And the people who, of course, influenced him to do so are worried. Miriam, that is why maybe some of them think acquiring the highest seat in the land will use it to erase the past happenings. And it is not possible. This is an international forum where evidence needs to be tabled, and there is no shortcuts here. And in fact, those who were acquitted on the basis of lack of evidence, for me, they need to be very worried. Because the moment now the true position comes out, is going to injure their credibility further. And Gicheru himself, of course, now when the case starts to be heard, he may say, having got this inner voice, say that let me now tell the truth. And if he decides to tell the truth, for exchange of leniency from the court, Miriam, you can imagine what is going to happen. There is the risk aspect here. Kenya being a political country, I call it political. You know, Miriam, we are so political that I wonder whether we care about economy. If now the other people are now again brought back to court, you can imagine the other parties out there will say, through politics, that now there is bias towards their person, and they start causing commotion internally. That is why, as Professor said and Dr. Masanga, I absolutely agree with them. We need to change their approach and go the way of reconciling as a nation and let the old wounds heal. But unfortunately, Miriam, most people's ego is so high, they are God unto themselves. Allow me, Miriam, to quote what Adam Grant said. Learning is how you evolve, and learning is how you keep up as the world evolves. So most people don't want to unlearn what they knew which were wrong, so that they move as the world is. The world is now evolving into peaceful environment, and this is why we want to encourage our leaders who are full unto themselves to start to unlearn the past wrong things and be objective and understand that our nation is bigger than ourselves. Miriam, in short, what I'm saying, whichever way you look at it, the case in ICC is going to import a lot of risk in our country, especially so now that we are approaching the next elections. So for now, Miriam, I submit so that I can let others to contribute. Thank you, Madam.
Very well, thank you so much. That is Dr. Joseph Nyanchama. Samuel Tawish.
Very well, thank you so much, Miriam Ogutu. Thank you to colleague panelist and Dr. David Masanga. And indeed, I want to take this opportunity to wish him a very safe flight. Miriam, I want to acknowledge the sentiments that have been put forth by Dr. David Masanga, Dr. Joseph Nyanchama, and Professor Jared Onyari, who have spoken ahead of me. And indeed, I wouldn't agree more on on the remarks that they have made in as far as ICC case is concerned. Miriam, indeed, the Kenyan people are becoming so forgetful. We are as forgetful as warthogs, to a point that we forget where we came from, we have forgotten where we are, and we are not even very keen on building the future that we all desire and aspire. And that is why you see today what is happening in Kenyan politics, the situation, the volatile situation of the Kenyan politics, the heightened political temperatures in the country. It is almost akin to what happened in the run-up to 2007 general election. It was our worst experience that we went through as a people, as a country, and it was just by God's grace that, of course, this country did not go down the drain, but we almost went there, save that, of course, there was intervention that made us, of course, to come out of that situation. But Miriam, I thought maybe that experience would have taught us a lesson, a big lesson, one that we will not want to get ourselves into that situation anytime again. But as it is, Miriam, we look into the build-up of campaigns in the run-up to 2022 elections. There's nothing different from what we saw and what happened in 2007 and 2008. Of course, people say the skirmishes that happened then was spontaneous, but I can tell you clearly, Miriam, if you are in some of these places, the intimidation, the coercion that was happening in the run-up to 2007 general election is almost what is happening today as we head into 2022. And Dr. Masanga has spoken so well on this, that we have almost the same people who put us in that situation now gunning for presidency and even almost doing worse than what they did during that time. And then we are expecting that we are going to have a very smooth and peaceful election come 2022. The level of antagonism that you are seeing in the country, the level of political intolerance that we are witnessing today, is only a build-up and a recipe for political chaos come 2022, Miriam. If only we could think again, if only we could scratch our heads and ask ourselves where we have come from and the kind of interventions and initiatives that have been put forth to see into it, how Kenya cannot go back into that route, including going to ICC, then I think maybe we'll be having a different experience today. We'll be having leaders really embrace peace, embrace the unity of purpose. But as you can see, people are scattered all over and championing their own interests, and nobody really seems to care about the unity of purpose that President Uhuru Kenyatta and former Prime Minister Raila Odinga have been advocating for. I mean, like Dr. Masanga said, the spirits of ICC are still hovering over our heads. Of course, Paul Gisheru will be, of course, putting forth his defense in as far as accusations against him are concerned. Dr. Masanga said that these cases were not quite vacated. They were not quite, completely put aside. But it was just a stay. In the event that there will be new and fresh evidence, then maybe those cases can be revived. So what then are we seeing? Will there be a premonition that we are going to have maybe the case against Deputy President William Ruto being revived at the ICC? Could it be that Joshua Arap Sang, the former radio journalist, is also his case is going to be revived at the ICC? What matters most is about the evidence and the submission that Paul Gisheru is going to make, of course, at the ICC. It's going to be a very, very significant but a very serious matter for the Kenyan people, because we have not taken any steps to see into it that maybe we are not going to ICC again. There were early on initiatives and interventions through our parliament, Miriam, that probably we could have Kenya withdraw completely from the ICC. Nothing happened. I don't know how that initiative fizzled out. There was also an attempt to have maybe, say, a special division of the High Court really handle cases of such magnitude. we have not seen any interventions and initiative towards that goal. There are also, of course, initiatives, for example, through the Building Bridges initiative, to see into it how we can have restorative justice. Restorative in the sense that people could forgive each other and decide to work together, bury the hatchet of what exactly happened in 2728, and work together, but that equally has been scuttled by our courts and including some of the politicians in the country. You've even seen some people actually dancing to the collapse of the BBI initiative, which is very, very unfortunate. This is something that would have provided us with a permanent solution to the perennial problems that we have been facing as a country, more so during the election period. But as it is now, we have not changed anything. We are doing almost the same thing, the same way, but we are expecting different results come 2022. Miriam, I can tell you, we are in a very precarious situation as a country and as a people. It is time maybe we have to rethink, as we get into 2022 general election or any election that will be there, how can we be in a position to reconcile our people? Dr. Masanga has given an example of Eldoret, Burnt Forest, Molo, Naivasha, Bungoma, and other places, Kisumu, Kibra, and other places really that were hotspots of the post-election violence. I had an opportunity myself, Miriam, to go to Mawingu IDP camp in Olkalau, the largest IDP camp then, that was actually put in place by virtue of what happened in 2007, 2008. That is an experience that you will not wish for even your worst enemy on planet Earth. So, but I think maybe the people of Kenya can go back to the drawing board and start thinking, what benefit does this animosity that we continue to breed really help us? The kind of anger, the kind of hatred, the kind of intimidation, the kind of fear that is being sold out there just for political expediency, just because people want to pursue their ambition regardless of the safety, security, and stability of this nation. This is very unfortunate. As we watch out for that particular proceedings at the ICC, I think we must have what I'll call a dialogue, a soliloquy amongst ourselves and ask ourselves, what is it new we can do to have a different perspective and a different approach in as far as our politics is concerned. But as it is today, it is toxic, dangerous, and it portends bad for the country of Kenya. I submit, Miriam.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Sharon Gitonga.
Thank you very much, Miriam, and my co-panelist. And if I would just echo what most of my panelists have talked about, can we, and I would really want to stress this out, whereby we can have our judicial systems being reviewed and strengthened, because I believe this is a matter that would have been solved very locally and not also have taken all that, a period of like 14 years. The other thing I would like to say is that above all that has been mentioned, I really hope that justice will be served accordingly. Remember, this is an issue of lives that were lost. So many people were displaced, and it is very evident that we, would see people being burnt in churches. And now that we are headed even towards the election, I think it should ring in our minds that we need to get a new methodology that. Just like what Tawish has said, we do things differently, not to do things the same way and expecting different results. Just the other day, you had, Governor Kimemia talking about the deep state, and if I would echo his word, he's actually said that the deep state is deeper than deep, meaning it exists, and this has got me really worrying. So we really need to sit down and look into how we can work things differently. Especially now that we are headed towards the election. That's all I can say for now. Thank you, Miriam.
Okay, thank you so much. Now, we know that earlier, as I've told you, that the ICC has rejected lawyer Gisheru's request to suspend hearing tomorrow over unfair judge. And according to the judge, Gisheru did not explain why her prior employment in the office of the prosecutor would prejudice his case during the status conference, and why she should not set the trial dates. And we know this was a high-profile case there at the ICC, and so most likely the world attention will be drawn to these proceedings at the ICC, even as we wait for that status conference to start tomorrow. Doc, I think Doc has already left. He's ready.
Miriam,
yes.
Miriam, I've not left. I would like to say I am now leaving the the airport, and I'm about to climb my plane back to Nairobi. Successfully, His Excellency the President of the Republic of Kenya is inaugurating the Lamu Marine display exercise, what we call army exercise. All the guests have arrived down here. And Miriam, let me tell you that now I am back on the almost departing. Thank you very much. I'm departing from the coastal area. And I wish you are smiling. I took your job this time, reporting live from Lamu. Thank you. Back to you. I'll be back to you later in the evening. Okay, or tomorrow morning, wherever I will be. But thank you very much. Keep it up. Miriam, hold the fort. Live from the coastal city of Kenya. I have become very investigative. Don't you think so? Thank you. I'm not taking your job, Mr. Tawish. Miriam, a good day, madam. Continue with it for about a few minutes, 10 minutes, if people have anything to say. But I'm telling you, it is not a very good case for Kenya at this moment. We should have avoided it. Back to you from Lamu.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thank you for that. I don't know if there's anybody else, is there anything else that you would like to add before we conclude the show? Well, I guess not. Thank you so much, Dr. David Matanga. Thank you, Professor Jared Nonyari, Dr. Nyanchama, Samuel Tawish, and Sharon Gitonga. I'll see you later with more news from across the continent. My name is Miriam Ogutu. Bye-bye for now.
Peace must be our goal and our guide. And all that we strive for as a human family, dignity and hope, progress and prosperity, depends on peace. But peace depends on us.